Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today on Motivational Speakers. And I'm really excited about our guest this morning because she's really quite special. And I think the message that I like the most about what Karen has to offer is the fact that she's really actually calling women out on some of the things that I think, being a woman, we just brush to the side and we say, no big deal, not a big deal. So I'm really looking forward to having you share your message today, Karen, and more importantly, having you wake some people up to some things that we keep just brushing under the rug. And so I'm not gonna say too much more because I know that you're gonna share it with us. So thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Kerry. I'm really excited to be here. But more importantly, to get, not just women, to get everyone thinking about the way that they're actually living their life. And I guess the first question I want to ask everyone is, are you giving up your health in order to get your wealth? And then will you be spending the rest of your life spending your wealth to get back your health? So what do I actually mean by that? And I guess the best thing for me to show you, because as we all know, a picture says 1,000 words, is I want to show you a photo of me in 2007. So when we have a look at that photo now, Kerry, if you can pop it up, thank you. So just have a look at me. That's me in 2007. At the time, I was a CFO of a publicly listed company, and I thought I was so successful. But just look at the photo. Look how overweight I am. Have a look at how masculine I look. And it was a passport photo, and just look at my lipstick. I did not even put my lipstick on properly when I went to have my photo taken. Now, how disconnected is that? And I now know that I was totally disconnected to the real me. And if you look at my eyes are screaming that. Though at the time, I certainly was not aware of it. So do you ever feel disconnected from yourself? Do you, feel that there's this thing inside you that's screaming at you going, what about me? When are you going to look after me? Why am I always last in everything that happens? And then if I show you my current passport photo, which was taken in 2017, just have a look at the difference. So what actually had to happen for there to be such a huge difference in those 10 years? Well, in order for me to share that with you, I'm going to take you back to the 10th of July, 2011. It's a Sunday morning around 8:30 a.m. and my husband and I, Andrew, have just woken up. I'm just in the kitchen trying to figure out what to have for breakfast, and Andrew's walking down the stairs to take out the rubbish. As he opens the door, he says, "Bloody hell, Dan is asleep at the back door." Now, alarm bells went off. As I took down the stairs, I'm pretty sure I only hit one or two of them, because even though Dan, our 27-year-old son, does have a habit of drinking way too much, he always makes it home to bed. And so he's lying in the fetal position, and he's got saliva sort of bubbling out of his mouth, and we're shaking him. Dan, wake up. Dan, please wake up. And then I don't know if you realise that sometimes in life, minutes just seem like days. And the paramedics arrive, and then they come back and they say the words, no mother ever wants to hear. No parent ever wants to hear. I'm sorry, madam. He's dead. He's been gone for several hours. Now, most people at that time would take, time to grieve. But what did I do? I actually went straight back to work, being my tough CFO, very ambitious, very driven by money. I just went straight back to work. And of course, I worked even more, drank even more, and ate even more. So I probably even got heavier than that photo that you actually saw in 2007. I don't really know. I never really liked having my photos taken, so I really can't show you at that stage because, as I said, I was so disconnected. But let me ask you, what would you have done? Would you have taken time to grieve, time to, console, to actually, honour your son, I guess, in some ways? Though I decided no, I had to go back to work, and that's what I did. And then, of course, the universe or God or whatever you want to call it wasn't happy with the fact that I ignored that wake-up call. So, of course, they had to send me another one. And about 15 months later, the company I was working for was merging with another company. And they had actually told me that, Karen, you won't be CFO in the new company, but you'll be more or less doing exactly what you're doing now. And I thought, well, that's fine by me. Well, it was until they decided to offer me 2/3 of my current salary. I'm so grateful that I had enough sense to actually say, no money, no me. And I just realised I couldn't do it anymore. And I took a redundancy. What would you have done? Would you have carried on? It was a great salary. Even the reduced salary was a great salary. What would you have done? Would you have decided, no, this is me? And I have to say, my whole body was screaming, Karen, get out. You cannot do this anymore. How many times do I have to send you stuff? Just look at you. You're overweight. You really are depleted. You're not even being appreciated. If they had appreciated you, they would have kept you on the same salary you were on. They would have realised how valuable you were. So that's what I did. I left. But I knew that I wasn't going to be an accountant anymore. I had this burning desire in me to actually, I guess, go and connect to the real me. And that's when I started on the journey that I'm on now. And I actually like to call it the journey to becoming my own best friend. And what you would think it'd be really easy just to connect to who you are now, wouldn't you? You live with yourself, you're there. But do you know what? It's been a long, long road. And I have to say, all of my demons have come to visit. And do you know why? The main reason is that my ego, my myself who I was certainly not going to give up without a fight. And I was pretty tough. I was pretty scary. To be quite honest, I was so scary that the real me was scared to actually show herself. So I went on this journey, and what I realized was it's not easy to give up the fake you. It's not easy to leave that world where you think you're so successful. You actually feel that this is who you are, even though deep inside you know that it's not you. All I had to do was look at myself, and I could see that it wasn't me. My eyes were so disconnected, as we saw. So I started on this journey, and then I started to realize that we were in survival. That world, it wasn't just me, it was all of my colleagues. We were all in survival. It's a dog eat dog existence. And it really is the survival of the fittest, though none of us were physically fit. And I started to sort of go, why does this world have to be like this? Why is it like that? We're all here to thrive. We're not here just to survive. So why is it so cutthroat? And that's when I started going on this journey, this, I like to call it life's university, which is what I've been on for about 4.5 years, nearly 5 years. And I started to get all these tools and these awarenesses, which were fantastic. Though it took me a long time because I was, doing this and learning how to be connected to who I am. But I want to ask you another question. Do you feel that, can you relate to that world that I'm been talking about, that dog-eat-dog world? Does it sound like the environment that you are? Like, are you true to yourself? And just look at the women who are in there. They all look like me. They were all over adrenalized. They're not being true to who they are. And a lot of them are really tough. They're a lot tougher than the men. But why? That's not our innate qualities. So what I found as I journeyed along, I started to have these big, big aha moments. And I started to realize that if you're the only person you are going to spend your entire life with, why is it that you put yourself last and give up on your dreams? I also discovered that when you're not connected to the real you, life doesn't work. You're out of balance, and we can all be in balance. And I also started to realize that the most profitable companies are not the dog-eat-dog ones. They're actually the ones that empower their employees. They give them autonomy. They allow them to be true to who they are. And what happens is they start to realize that the people are healthy and they're more productive and they're happier and they give back 200%, as opposed to just being there and going through the processes and, hating their role. They actually love what they do. And that's why the companies are thriving so much more. So that's when I realized that this is what I'm meant to do. I had to live that life. I had to be that person in order for me to actually create my programs, and then for me to go back into that world, that dog-eat-dog world, and to actually help people and the businesses to actually thrive by actually helping their employees to reconnect to who they are, and for them to actually realize that they don't have to be like that. They can actually be more collaborative, they can be healthy, and that's what I love. And I discovered, most importantly, and I'm sure we've all heard the safety announcement on the aircraft that, in case of an emergency, please put your own oxygen mask on first. Well, I've discovered that it's not just an emergency, that's a daily requirement. Because the more you look after yourself, the more you can actually do everything. And the more that you'll be in balance. There's actually 9 areas to life. And we need to consciously spend time in all 9 of them. And to make it easy for you to understand the 9, I've brought them into 4 pillars. And I've called them all about you, all about your relationships, all about your expertise, and all about your wealth creation. So let me ask you, how often do you put yourself first? And how often do you spend loving time with your family or with your friends? And how often are you just busy for the sake of being busy? And another great one is, how often do you tap dance to work and tap dance home? because that's how we should be living our life. And how often do you waste your money, your hard-earned money? Oh my God, just thinking back, it's unbelievable how much, when you are not being connected to yourself, you will waste money. Unbelievably so. You can't not, because you're trying to fill this void, this hole inside of you, because you don't feel whole, as in WHOLE. You're missing something, and you're missing you. So I just like to say that you can reconnect to who you are, and you can have everything you desire, though it starts with you actually realizing that you need to connect to you. You need to put yourself first. It's not from an ego perspective. It's from a more loving perspective. The more I look after me, the more I can look after everyone else. And the more I can live the life that we all can live, the life that we all came here to live. We just get so disconnected. We think that fake world is the world. It's not. It's just a perception, and it doesn't have to be like that, which is what I really love. But what I've learnt from Dan's passing is, and I'm so grateful that I guess he had to pass in order for me to wake up. But I know that probably sounds a little bit weird. And sure, I'd love to have him back here, but, that's not possible. But what I've realised is it's time, for us to connect to who we are. And I really hope that you can get this for yourself, and you don't have to have, any tragic event happen in your life in order for you to get the aha moment and to slowly wake up. And that's what I'm all about. And that's what I love. And you know what? It is time for you to connect to the best friend in your life. And that's you. I just love it, Carrie. I just love the fact I can share this with everybody. And, in this beautiful setting, which is, I'm at my home, I just love the fact that you can have it all, and you can be healthy, and we've only got one body, and it's time to, make sure we can get it to the end of our life, and it, not pass at 27 like Dan did.
Yeah. And Karen, it's amazing, because a lot of women, they're running themselves ragged, and we don't even stop to think about it, let alone know it's a problem. So I hope that
it's all just to get more stuff, and the stuff isn't fulfilling you if you're honest with yourself.
So all you ladies out there, and corporates and businesses, one of the things that I think Karen really does, not just with women but across the board, is she literally wakes people up to make them realize what's important. And when people realize what's important, everything changes, and Karen's very humble, and she hasn't really shared her success stories, but I've been really fortunate to actually see what Karen's been able to do with different people, and different people who are transitioning to their own business, or people that are transitioning in the workplace or making changes. And it's about really focusing on what's important, and the capital growth, and the gains, and the productivity increase, and the monumental impact it makes across not just the individual, but across the organization is mind-blowing. I mean, there's been 7-8 people doing a role that just 2 or 3 people could have done. And because of Karen's financial background as a CFO and her ability to actually pay attention to what's really important, it's just incredible. So Karen's got amazing books. You can find them on karenchaston.com.au. You'll also find it on the resources page here on our podcast today. Karen is a speaker. She often goes into organizations, and she also works independently as a coach with women. So definitely go check her out. Check out her books, and Beyond Your Worst Nightmare. She's actually written a little mini version of that book that you can grab on her website, where she actually shares a lot about this journey that you've had. And I'm going to say through Dan, not because of him, but through him.
Yes.
And it's just really quite beautiful. It's really beautiful, and it really makes you stop and think. So, Karen, thank you so much for your contribution today. And
Thanks, Carrie. Also, I've created a wellness wheel survey for people to actually figure out how balanced they actually are in all 9 areas of their lives. So that'd be great if they can, just take the survey. We can put a link down the bottom as well. It's also on my website, which will be great. And, and connect with me because I know that I can make a difference. And I know that most people aren't even aware that there's 9 areas of life. They're spending their life in 1 or 2. That's what I used to do. And, as I said, I thought I was successful, and I know I wasn't now.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So awesome. So go to KarenChaston.com.au. And Karen, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. And I hope all the women of the world wake up, and every single person who's listening right now needs to go and grab your book. And if you know a woman who is in this position, go make them grab Karen's book and get in touch with her, because your work is incredible. It really is.
I know. Imagine the world when, more women actually wake up to this awareness. It's going to be a great world then that we can live in.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks so much, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks again, Karen. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.